on Inside Center this Sunday. I am glad that you're taking time to join me, and wherever you might be, may God richly bless you. My prayer is that this discussion of today will bring you the insight that you need for the kind of life, the quality of life that you want to live according to God's purpose for your life. Thank you for joining me today on Inside Center. I want us to continue our discussion as we started last week on the mindset. Last week we looked at setting the mind, or what becomes our mindset. See, our mindset determines the outcome of our life. Our mindset is everything. Our mindset is the director of our attitude, and our attitude is everything. So eventually, if we do not possess the right mindset, it will become difficult to produce the right results and right ends. And this is why it's so important for us to have the right mindset so that we can think the right thoughts. Last week, we looked at our guidance scripture. Our guidance scripture was coming from the book of Proverbs, and we looked at the 7:23-7. It says that, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Eat, drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. This is the New King James translation. But I want us to look at the 6. The 6 says that, do not eat the bread of a miser, nor desire his delicacies. And then the 7 goes about the way he thinks in his heart. Because he is a miser, because he thinks like a miser, he is a miser. And therefore it describes the disposition of thought and personality. In other words, who I am has to do with how I think. And so it's important that we understand that background of, if I'm a miser, somebody who hoards resources and rather will die than spend them, then my thinking, the reason why I am like that comes from my thinking. In other words, who you are now comes from the way you think. It's very important. And so if you want to change who you are now, basically not completely, you will not be able to change your whole setup as a person, but you can develop your personality, you can keep growing. And so if who you are now, you do not like it, or if there are some elements in your life that you are not happy about, then what Proverbs is saying is that if you do not want to be considered as something, the first place to check is to check your thinking in your heart, in your mind, because that is the seated place of all that you are. And so I mentioned last week that Jesus himself said that we should guide the heart, from out of it comes all the issues of life. In other words, so whatever I am, it has to do with my thinking. I want you to keep that at the back of your mind as we continue our discussion today, and we will be going a little bit deeper into that later on. But as I mentioned, your mindset is so important. And so if you go around walking with a limited mindset, or a limiting mindset, a defeating mindset, or stuck in a sort of a loop where you're not capable of thinking beyond that which you know, or who you define yourself to be, a lot of things you will miss a lot of things in life. And so I want to ask you this question: how do you see your current realities, or how do you see your current situations? How do you see the circumstances that you're living in now? Do those circumstances, or that situation, or today's realities, your here and now realities, are they defining you, or they do not define you? It's an important question, and I want you to think about as I give you 5 statements about having a better, limitless, and expansive mindset. I want to give you these statements from the beginning, because these statements sum up all the discussions that we will have later. But I hope that you will grab onto one or two of these statements, which I believe will help the quality of your life as you go on. So number one, an expansive mindset or a limitless mindset masters courage to transcend what is now into what is yet to be or what is yet to be seen. In other words, when you have a limitless mindset, when you do not limit your mind or your mindset to that which you have been taught only or that which you have experienced in the past, you are able to move, have the courage to look to what is yet to come in your life, because all the things that perhaps you're supposed to experience and go through in this life, you've not yet experienced them now. And so if you're going to limit your mindset or block your mindset or lock yourself in on the things that you've consumed in the past and has become part of you and the realities through which you, the lens through which you live on this earth, you might miss out on something. So you have to have the courage as a being, as a human, as a child of God, to be able to constantly transcend that which you know, in order to have new experiences, new understanding, and maybe even new things that God is yet to show you. Number two is an expansive mindset. Invest in their creativity and curiosity in a meaningful way that benefits everything around them. If you want to have a limitless mindset or a mindset that is expansive, always growing, then you have to invest in creativity. You become creative. You find new ways to learn more things, discover more things, know more things about you, and also to know what you can do with those things and what those things can do. That is the curiosity aspect of it. You're always looking to how you can better your surroundings, because in your mind, what you know is not everything that there is. And we always know that there is always more that we do not know. So we know less than what we are supposed to know in life. In other words, there is more to be known. And so if you open up, if you find creative ways to learn more, to be curious, to see what is going on in other worlds, in China, in America, in Africa, wherever you are, you always have to have that curiosity mindset, so that you can learn more. The third thing is that an expensive or limitless mindset is not a lazy mind. It's never lazy. It's not always looking for the easy way out or the shortcuts to success. They are looking for a limitless or expansive mindset. Is never looking for the easy way out. It's never afraid, to take the long route. It's never afraid to really pay the price that it needs to pay. It's never afraid to go the long journey, to pay the price that it needs to pay in order to achieve the things that lies ahead of them. People who are stuck in their mindset never really goes beyond what they are. But successful people are people who are always growing, who are finding new ways, being creative, being curious, looking for new ways to understand their life and what they are here for and how they can make those things, how they can achieve those things. And so they do not get stuck. They do not define themselves like the miser we read about in the book of Proverbs. And so that ties to the number 4, which says that the expansive or limitless mindset propels itself towards challenges and uncomfortable situations so that it can expand even more its capacity. In other words, when you want to have a growth mindset, an ever expanding mindset, a limitless mindset, you are always looking for new things that challenges you, that causes you to, come out of your comfort zone. I was surprised to read that when people who go through dementia and mental problems in the later years of their life, that the advice is that they should learn new languages or read more or learn new things, because the more you learn them, the more the mind stays active, the more the mind starts looking for ways that you've not even considered yet. And that's the way we make God's promises on our life comes to pass. Because when we box God up and we say God is only going to come to fulfill something in our life through this way, we are saying that if he doesn't come through that way, we are missing him. You understand? If you expect God to act in a certain way and he doesn't act that way, what happens? Do you feel like God has disappointed you? Maybe he was using a different route. Maybe he was using a different way. And so it's important to have that mindset of facing challenges, being able to come out of your comfort zone and to face situations that will cause you to grow even more, that will stretch your understanding and stretch your life, because we have to seek understanding. The fifth thing is that an expansive or limitless mindset is not threatened by the success of other people, but is always looking to learn from others and their experiences. You can have a growing mindset, a limitless mindset, an expansive mindset, and be afraid of people doing well around you. That is not a growth mindset. That is not an expansive mindset. That is a limiting mindset. Anyone who wants to grow, anyone who wants to keep revolving and becoming who they are supposed to become, will always have that humility to want to learn from the people who are making it, and even those who are not making it around them, because there is always something to learn from other people. And whenever you lock yourself up and feel like you have arrived, you have set your lid, you have set your ceiling at that place, that nothing can come in, and you think that you can only give. And so if you want to have that mindset that will help you grow, that will stop you from becoming as you think, as you are, but become somebody who people see as pragmatic, progressive, and always looking for ways to bring new things on board, then you will have to have that in you, not to be afraid of those who are succeeding around you, because it is that which will propel you even forward into success bigger than yourself. The question becomes, do you see obstacles or do you see opportunities when you look around you? Whatever it is, when I grew up in Ghana, for instance, and I know some of you watching or who might follow this message, listen to this message, might also be in Ghana, and God bless you. And I'm really happy that you take time to, follow up on these messages. And I pray that they really become helpful. But as I was growing up in Ghana, I remember that I had to deal with some things at an early age. I went through some situations that were traumatic, that were difficult. I felt sometimes uncared for. I even have to face some abuse at an early age. Some of you might have been going through the same situation, and even sometimes you sit back and when you think about all these things, you feel like even some dogs in some Western countries are far better and fortunate than your life. And you go through all these situations that has the capacity and they have the potential to form a strong mental hold on you. They cave, or is it a cave, or is it they engrave? That is the word. They engrave your mindset. They become the stronghold which you live by, and these ideas can sometimes be limiting, because of the violence you faced when you were growing up, because the people you couldn't trust around you, because of the situations you had to deal with at an early age. It becomes very difficult to trust people, to connect with people on a meaningful way, and to go through life having an open mindset. And so these situations can be limiting. And if that becomes your mindset, you go through life expecting to honor other people's life. Is not an honor, but actually to give people the same thing that you went through, which is destructive. And so the best way to look at this situation, the situations that you went through, the circumstances you faced that were not good, that you knew they were not good, but you had to go through anyway, is to make sure that you do not let them become the stronghold of your thinking, that they do not become the mindset, that they do not set your mind. Because once they set your mind, they might make you want to give up on things that you do not have to give up. The best place that you can position yourself in life is to never give into the challenges of life. It's important because life is challenging. You go through things that you have no control over. And when you go through those things, you do not have to let them define you. And so what I went through as a child, I do not let them define me. I do not let those traumas, those unfortunate situations, those abuses, those situations that were overwhelming, I do not let them define me, but I set myself up for something more than what I have seen. I do not allow those things to set me as a person, because I do not want to be a victim. You know, most people walk in life as victims. Their mindset is a victim mindset. They feel like they are the victims of life. They feel like they are at the receiving end and not able to give anything. And when you walk in life like that, somebody will prey on you. You become a prey for the predators. People will use you. People will abuse you. People will put you even in a worse situation, because whenever you do that, what you're saying is that you allow yourself to be subjugated or you're subjugating or handing over your potential to external factors, to circumstances, to situations, to people, instead of you yourself with God taking charge of your life. You do not want to be a victim in life just because of the things you went through. You do not want that to be your mindset. The hard situations, the difficult situations, and I know it's difficult. I have been there, being punished for no reason, being starved for no reason, being denied things for no reason, not being cared for because of poverty, because of the limitations and the circumstances. But do not allow those things to set your mind. You have to have a limitless mindset, an expansive mindset. And I will show you very soon what that means. You do not want to be in that place where you hand over your life to situations that are beyond you, or to other people, and say, here, I'm a victim, use me, abuse me, that I don't have any life, or you're hopeless. No, in Christ we have hope. In life we have hope. When we walk with God, we cannot be hopeless, because there's a glory that is in us, and that glory will take us to where God wants to bring us. So I'm so excited about is that if you would take this, do not let your mindset be set by the negative things that you experience. The second thing that I wanted to mention about walking with a victim mindset is that you subscribe to other people's doing. You make other people make choices for you. You tell them to decide your life. You do not want that. Steve Jobs said that your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma. Dogma is anything that is on top of you that you're not capable of changing or doing anything about, which is living with the result of other people's thinking. And I like that statement. He said, do not be trapped by dogma, and he says that which is living with the results of other people's thinking. The other people's thinking can be the thinking of your mothers, the thinking of your fathers, the thinking of your ancestors, the thinking of the leaders of the nation you live in, the thinking of the friends you have, the thinking of other people. The results of their thinking is their issue. You shouldn't be carrying on a burden that you have no understanding of. You shouldn't be submerging into any form of life behavior that you yourself do not understand. Do not make other people's thinking your stronghold. It's important that you learn to question things, because if God created you uniquely, if you're unique, then why would you want to live other people's life? I have a unique code, a unique DNA. You have a unique DNA. God has planted something uniquely in you. There is a special thing in you. Doesn't matter what people say. We can put aside everything, but we have individual contributions in this life. And you alone can do it the way you do it. And so why would you throw your life away because you developed a certain mindset that is wrong, or that was passed on to you that is limiting? Our people, we are not capable of becoming rich. Our people, we're not capable of producing any technology. Our people, this is how we are. We are abusive, we are aggressive, we are violent. Our people, if you come from us, we're not capable of, expanding our thinking. That is limiting. You don't have to buy into that idea. You are more than you can think of. And so I want to ask you, always ask yourself this question. And I'm going to ask you those questions, but I hope you write these questions down. It's very important. The first question that I think you should be writing now is, why do you think the way you think? Or why do I think the way I think? It's a question that is very important. The second thing is that, why do I act the way I act? And the third thing is, why am I the way I am? Those three questions can tell you your mindset, your type of mindset. If the mindset that you have is coming from the church, like really a church thinking, a family thinking, friends thinking, and your world's thinking, when you live in a place where there is lack of resources, there is no job, and your mindset is, I'll never find a job, I guess I'm going to live this way, or I'll never be this, or I'll never graduate, or I'll never do that. You will always discover that when you ask yourself those questions. Why do you think the way you think? Why do you act the way you act? And why are you the way you are? Those are important questions to ask yourself, because the moment you ask yourself, you are bringing intentionality to the sets of beliefs that guide your life, the accepted systems that, that covers you, and the predominant ways that governs and guides your life. I'm talking about the sets of beliefs, the accepted systems that rule you. You have some of the system are governmental systems, and the predominant way of doing things around you, the ways that people do things. And the majority of us don't have a lot of say about it, especially when it is in the global level, or in the country that you live in. And so whenever you ask yourself personal questions, you are trying to position yourself in your set of beliefs, in the accepted systems, and in the predominant ways of doing things around you. And then you can start shifting things around you. How would you make it out of these circumstances that you find yourself, that you perhaps don't want to believe your life? It's all about the mindset. It is all about the mindset. And that, when you understand those questions better, you will start developing the right mindset that will either lead you to success or point it out to you that you are stuck. You are in stagnation. You're not going to progress from here. It's very important to really delve into those questions, as if you want to make it beyond where you find yourself. It's important, because your mindset can limit you or set you free. Your mindset will make you bring value to the place where you find yourself, or deny you from bringing value to the place you find yourself. Your mindset will distinguish you from the situation around you, the people around you, whether you become useful or unuseful in the sense of your giftings, your talents, and all the things that you have. Remember, everybody goes through challenging times. Everybody faces difficult times in your life. And no matter where people find themselves in life, there is always a certain level of challenge. There is always a certain level of setback. There is always something that they are dealing with. And if you will allow that to set, like I asked you in the beginning, allow the realities of now to define you, and say, yes, this is who I am. I am not going to be this. I am not going to be that. Or I can do that. Or I can be that. Or this is not me. Or this is that and that and that. When you start defining yourself, you are setting your mind to accept that. And the moment you push the button on save, you save that mindset in a place where you only have the capacity to go in there again and reset that mind, and recondition that mind, and reprogram that mind, so that you can do things in a more different way. But what I want to encourage you as I end today's discussion is that you need a mind that is capable of accepting more than what it has already received. Next week, we will look at how we can reset the mind in terms of what I mean with reconditioning it, reprogramming it. And I will discuss also the 3 ways that our mind is set, or that we set our mind intentionally and unintentionally. Then we will talk about the ways to reprogram the mindsets that we have now that are disturbing us or that might not be good for us. And then we will continue with other messages. But I think that this is an important subject and I don't want to rush through it. And so you can leave a comment. Do you know, or do you have any mindsets around you that you think is limiting, that is not allowing you to expand, to become who you're supposed to become? God bless you for joining me on Insight Center this Sunday. My name is Oscar Awasamoah, and I'm always glad, and may God richly bless you that you are taking time to develop yourself as God continue to bless your life. God bless you and see you next week. Bye-bye.